but we got a show for you. In fact, we got a special thing going on. We're going to do a simulcast with Community Connections on AM 1310. We're going to pull them into the conversation at 1:30. So y'all tune in. But this is the thing. We are concerned, and surely you've been listening, that there's been an arrest in that quadruple murder that happened out on the east side. I predicted last week that when they found the culprits, if they found the culprits, and now they have found someone that they're charging, that money would be involved. We're going to talk about the economics of crime. You know I ain't got but one question for you. You ready?
This is not a test.
If you listen to this program, you're going to get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt-naked truth. This program is X-rated.
You ready? You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
You are now tuned in to the world's most honest talk show host, the Elder Mmoja, Ajabu.
Welcome. For those who don't know, this is Elder Mmoja, Ajabu, your host for After the Naked Truth. This program is dedicated to stripping the clothes off of well-dressed lies, and there are a bunch of well-dressed lies running around here. So I would suggest that if you can't stand the truth, that you situate yourself somewhere else, because this program is X-rated. It's X-rated because the truth will not have on any clothes. You are listening to the most truthful talk show host in the business, unbought, unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt-naked truth. Sometimes things happen that just make you want to holler. And I am concerned, because right now, over Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, they're hosting a funeral for Marcel Willis, 20 years old, and Jalen Roberts, 19. They were two of the youth that were killed in the quadruple murder that happened the 5th of February out on the east side. Last week, when all of this went down, I predicted, and I hate that I was able to see this, but some things are so clear that you can't help but see it. I predicted that when someone was arrested, that there would be some money involved in this case. I'm distraught. I'm upset because there's money that can be placed within the neighborhood that's already the law in Indianapolis. I'm going to get into that a little bit more, later in the program, because there's something going on. Tina Cosby emailed me earlier today and asked if I would come on Community Connections at 1:30. And that's about 3-4 minutes away. And so I am going to call, and we're going to do a simulcast right here. You see that church right there. And Pastor Covington is to be commended. He opens that church right there for people that have financial problems so that they can have a decent place to lie decent people for their final resting place. Pastor Covington, man, you are right with me. Pastor Ronald Covington, and you know Friendship is right over there in Hallville. And it's an elaborate church. It's a very nice facility. And he offers that church to the community so that there is a place where people that are financially challenged can lay their loved ones. We need more of that. He's increasing the love and decreasing the hate. But why is he having to offer his church for funerals of a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old because the money that the city is supposed to put through the community of people of African descent, is not being placed there? When you look at solutions, last week, the FOP had a press conference, and they was talking about their solution was to lock people up, keep them in jail longer. Before then, they was talking about more police officers. Now they done got more police officers, but the statistics show that more police officers is not the solution. The FOP had I'm gonna get into that a little more, but let me call Tina and see what it is that we can talk about, and see if we can't push this situation to where is that we can stop these murders, prevent them. I don't solve them. I want to prevent. Preventing murder is better than solving a murder, because if you prevent a murder, then that means that a murder has not taken place. Let's see if we can connect with WTLC here. I'm calling the number. And I'm gonna put it on speaker. Hello? Did they call? Did they hang up on me? It's not going through. And I don't know what the deal is. Hello?
Hey, there you are.
Yeah.
There you are. Is this Ajabu?
This is he.
Okay, well, I will let Tina know you're on the line, and we'll be bringing you in here in just a moment, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on.
Mhm. So they're getting ready to connect. When they connect me, then I'll put it on speaker so that you can hear what they're saying. But I wanted to continue to talk about this situation and the problem of lack of money being the root cause of these murders. When you look at the charging information of the youngsters that they are charging with carrying out these murders, they say it was a robbery. Yes, 4 people were killed, but it was a robbery. Now, I don't know what those 4 people were doing in that house. But if I were to go to my street knowledge and my street experience, I'd say that they was probably doing something up and through there where they had money and the people knew that they had money, and they said, okay, this is an easy hit, because if we steal from him, they can't go tell the police, and they went up in there and something went wrong. And something went so wrong that when they left, there was 4 people dead. According to the reports, the filings by the prosecutor, when they went up in there, all the drawers were pulled out, the beds were turned over. And this is something that really gets me. The young man that was supposed to be the driver, Anderson, he said that the people that was going in called somebody who was in the place. The robbers had somebody in the place who said, yeah, it's all right to come up in here and do what you need to do. Help me, Father. That means that there was a snitch in the building where those 4 people got killed. Now, Ajabu, why you call him a snitch? Now, let me define that for y'all. See, if you pulling a caper with somebody and one of the people that you with pulling the caper tells, then they snitching. But now if you see somebody running into somebody's business or running into somebody's home, you ain't snitching if you saying that, look, I saw Leroy run up in there. You a witness. You ain't in on the caper. So you understand the difference between snitching and being a witness. And I'm saying that we need to stop this so there not needs to be a snitch nor a witness. Because there's nothing that needs to be told because people are making money legitimately. I was at the press conference for the Indiana Black Expo 50th anniversary. Mayor Joe Hogsett was there. After he spoke, I got a chance to interact with him on a personal level. And I asked him, and well, I told him that I thought he was right. Because the FOP, standing with Pastor Jackson and some other people, wanted to put a solution in place to where they wanted to study the problem of why there are so many murders happening in Indianapolis. And Mayor Hogsett took the position, you don't have to study it, we already know. And his conclusion was that the problem was poverty. Well, just like he understands that the problem is poverty, he also should understand that he has the solution to the poverty because the law in Indiana says the city should do at least 16% of its business with businesses of people known of African descent. Now Tina has come on, and I'm trying to listen to her while I'm talking to you. And she's going to come on, and when she comes to me, then I'm gonna go to her, and we're going to make a thing going on here. So y'all tune in. Here we go.
Freedom Fighters of Indiana, and they are led by well-known community activist, Mr. Mmoja Ajabu. Mr. Ajabu is on the line right now and has been really busy as of late, and so we need to catch up to him and what he's doing. Mr. Ajabu, are you there?
Live and in living color.
Well, are you ever any other way?
I hope not. If so, you know, the clock done stopped.
I know something's happened. I know something has happened. So you're doing okay?
Yes, ma'am. And you?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Great,
well,
team.
actually. So you know, we've been communicating back and forth via email. You've been keeping me updated on what's going on, what you're doing, some of the meetings and updates and things. And so what I'd like to do is just kind of catch up. First of all, the Economic Freedom Fighters of Indiana, for people who may not necessarily be aware of that particular group, can you fill us in and bring us up to date?
Sure. The Economic Freedom Fighters of Indiana is an organization that I founded with the intent to help push economics specifically to people of African descent. When we found out, in fact, I got a call from a brother from Georgia, and he was telling me that Indianapolis specifically, has a law that says that at least 15% of its business must be done with businesses owned by people of African descent. I researched and found out that it was true. And so what we are doing is we are trying to make that percentage start going through the community instead of going.
What's the percentage again? What's the percentage again?
At least 15%.
At least 15. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
And
15% goes to minority. Yeah. Okay.
well, we're even moving to change that language. But let me go with the flow, and I'll get to that.
Okay.
All right. So we talked to people that were running for office, and nobody really wanted to come up with an agenda that was specific to people of African descent. They wanted to tell us, well, we got an agenda for all the people. Well, we was telling them that all the people have not gone through what we have gone through. All the people have not been enslaved by this country. All the people are not being still impacted by our enslavement. All the people are not having poverty run rampant through their community. Poor housing, poor schools. I mean, in some of our neighborhoods, there's not even a grocery store. So all of the communities are not suffering those kind of issues. So we need an agenda specific to people of African descent, because everybody's history is not our history, and to tie everybody else into our history and get the benefit from the oppression that we've experienced is just not fair to us. And so we have started an initiative to come up with our own political party, an independent political party that is specifically founded to address the issues of people of African descent. We went to the...
so you're talking about an African descent black political party?
We're talking about a political party that's agenda is specifically for people of African descent. We are not opposed to other people helping us doing that.
But the agenda must be clear that it's for African Americans.
Now you're talking to me.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm getting where you're coming from.
We're not opposed to working with anybody, but we have an agenda. And our agenda is to address the ills that are happening in the communities of people of African descent. We don't care if you Chinese, Japanese, or have no knees. If you want to work with us, you understand what I'm saying? We open to work with you if you are tying into our agenda.
Just understand the agenda. Now, is this a party that is meant to go nationwide, or is this a party specific to the state of Indiana and Indiana's African American not agenda, but the cause of Indiana's African American population?
Our efforts right now are statewide.
Statewide, okay.
Yes.
Statewide political party. Okay.
Yes, we are trying to get ballot access, and we have filed paperwork or talked to the state election board, and they've given us the process on how to do that. And we have to get a certain amount of signatures, but they won't give us the petitions. And so what we have done is we filed a suit with the Civil Rights Commission to say that they are discriminating against us. Yeah, there's a lot going on. We have, in fact, there's going to be an article that comes out in the Indianapolis Recorder this week considering the case that we have filed against them. We have negotiated, and they're saying that they are willing to consider releasing the petitions after the legislature release and with a June 20th or June 30th date, because then all of the election that's going on in 2020 will be over, and they'll be willing to consider releasing the petitions then. We have said that if they release the petitions then we're willing to consider withdrawing the complaint that we have filed with the Civil Rights Commission. So all of that is going on. But I am concerned with the quadruple murders, and I heard you talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
And the,
okay, you're concerned about the murder. Oh, okay.
yeah,
So,
and let me tie it in.
Okay.
Because when you look at it, and I went and I got the chronological case summary of the filings.
You got the probable cause affidavit?
I haven't got the probable cause affidavit, but I got the charges, and I see on the charges that those killings were in the course of the people trying to carry out a murder. Excuse me, a robbery.
You mean a robbery?
A robbery.
Yeah.
So if we're going to understand the murders, we've got to understand the economics of crime. Those people that were killed were probably doing something, to whereas those people who went in there to rob them said that they had money. And if you read the information that's being released, the driver of the car, the so-called getaway car that got everybody busted when the cameras picked up his temporary license plate, he said somebody in the car made a call to somebody in the house to say that it was time to come into the house because what they were seeking to rob was there. So now, yeah, you got to read the stuff. You got to read the stuff. Let me see. I have the article here, and it states that the shooting occurred around 10 p.m. at the apartment.
I was going to say around 10 o'clock.
Yeah. And this is from Channel 8. In an interview with investigators, Anderson, who was the driver of the car, and
The driver.
the four discussed committing a robbery as they pulled into the parking lot of the apartments. According to court documents, Anderson told police his role was as a getaway driver, and that of one of the suspects used his phone to contact someone inside the home to purchase weed. So now you got and I heard a caller talking about snitching. See, a snitch is someone that is part of the caper that tells on everybody else. So now if you see it going on, you ain't snitching. If you a witness, if you tell, you a witness. You ain't a snitch. But there was a snitch because there was somebody inside the house that told the people outside the house that you could come in and steal the weed and the money, and evidently something went wrong, and 4 people came up dead. I'm saying,
What are you getting at?
here it comes. Here it comes.
Okay.
It was about money. President, look. When the FOP had its press conference talking about coming up with a commission to study why these murders are happening, Mayor Hogsett said, no, we don't need another commission. We know why these murders are happening. They're happening because of poverty. I say Mayor Hogsett is correct. And just like he understands the problem, he's got the solution to the problem within his hands. I talked to him yesterday, and I told him that I thought that he was correct, and that the solution was for the city to honor the law that says that it must do at least 15% of its business with businesses owned by people of African descent. Now, right now, that law says minorities, and it lumps people of African descent in with a bunch of other people that they call that are minorities.
Yes, it's a broad definition, yes.
I said that we needed to tailor that definition to where it specifically addressed the economics of businesses owned by people of African descent. Mayor Hogg said agreed. I said not only do we need to be extracted out of that minority category and have our own category, we need to have our own percentage to where that is not clouded because the white women and Asian Pacific people, they don't have the problems that we have. Our problem has to be addressed specifically. He agreed. I said not only does the law need to be changed to where that we have our own particular category, but we also need to have the language that makes the at least 15% a goal. It needs to be changed to where it is a set aside. He agreed. I said, well, then what my next move is to talk to people on the city county council to craft the legislation so that we can make that happen. He said, I'll sign it. So now, and I'm saying this publicly, I've talked to a number of people, they say they don't believe that he's telling the truth. Well, he hasn't lied to me, and they may know him better than me. But I don't think that he would say that and not mean that, and especially mean it if he wants to address the murders that's going on in the neighborhood. That's where I was going with this whole thing about the economics of crime. If you want to solve the crime, and I agree with Mayor Hogg's side, we don't need to study it. We know it's about money. And if the city's budget is what, $1.2 billion? If he were to, if he were to do at least 15%, that's what, almost $160 million? If that kind of money started going through the communities of people of African descent, they wouldn't be fighting about how to get some money. They'd be fighting about how to spend some money. And they wouldn't be killing each other talking about, well, I want to spend my money over here instead of spending it over there. They probably put their money together and say, well, shoot, we got enough. We can spend money both places. So it is imperative upon those people of African descent that sit on the city county council to hold the mayor accountable, because he told me, and I'm saying it publicly, he told me out of his mouth yesterday that if they crafted the legislation, then he would sign the legislation. So now we're trying to get a meeting with them to craft it, and I've already came up with the language for them. When you talk about Section 202-401, the purpose of the minority-owned and women business enterprise, it says to utilize minority-owned, and I strike that out. I say to utilize businesses enterprise owned by people of African descent for public work projects, procurement of goods and services for the city and county in a dollar amount equal to at least 15% of money spent by the city and county. Instead of making a minority thing, make it thing specific to people of African descent. Wouldn't you agree with that?
You got me thinking, because, okay, I'm thinking, 31, and we'll let our listeners in on this as well, 317-239-1310, 317-239-1310. Where does the separate party come in regarding this, or is the party a separate venture from this legislation that you're trying to get the city county council to craft?
Yeah, that's two tracks.
Okay.
Yeah, that's two tracks.
Okay.
See,
now that I got that straight, I don't know. So your contention is that if the city county council crafts this measure and passes it, that will stem the tide of all of this violent crime.
yes, it will have a direct impact. If you don't, people that got money ain't out trying to rob people for money and in the process murdering them.
It sounds almost, well, I don't know.
The stats are clear. The stats are clear. The stats are clear. People in jail right now, most of them didn't have $100 in their pocket at the time that they was arrested. There is a direct relationship between crime and people's economic status.
I think that there is a direct relationship between that, but I don't think that that is the only relationship.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
There are other things that factor into that.
Right.
But anyway, okay, well, let's go to the phone lines. Let's hear what our listeners have to say.
All right.
Well, wait a minute. You want to weigh in here? No? Okay. Heartfelt, you on the bill suggested? Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes. So I wanted to say that I think it's a great idea. What he is saying, and when you have dealt with the community and you have lived most of your life in the urban area, I know without the statistical fact for just a number of people that I know personally that have been incarcerated, they didn't have $100 in their pocket.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And it is definitely an economical situation.
Mm-hmm.
However, you do have a flip side of the coin, okay?
Right, and that was the point I was making. Yeah.
Right, okay? Because there are, everybody, I mean, this is gonna put a cap on a lot of it, but you may still have some of it going on because,
Yeah, I understand, and you know what? I'm gonna. Maybe I can fill in this up because you're still gonna have some of it going on. Because here's the other thing. There's always going to be that element. You know what? I commend you, Elder Ajabu, because that's thinking, and that's thinking outside the box. But the other thing that just keeps hitting me is that a lot of these crimes, there's the element of drugs that are included in there, and drugs
That's money.
equates to money.
That's money. That's
money.
the economics of crime. Those 4 kids got killed because they was pitching weed. The robbery was about going in there to steal the weed. Now they was going to get some money, but they was
We're talking about fast money. We're not talking about economic opportunities and contracts and things of that
why
nature.
did they have the weed, Tina? To make some money. That's the economics of crime.
It's a circular conversation, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's the economics of crime. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You know what? Let's take a break right here because we have a commercial we're up against. Everybody, stay right where you are. Stay put. We're gonna pick this up in about 2 minutes right after the break. Okay? We'll be
No
right back.
problem. So y'all see, people don't want to deal with the money. They don't want us to be getting part of the money. We need to get the money just like everybody else get the money. And if the city starts following the law, to whereas at least 15% of that budget, $166 million coming through the community, that's $500 for every man, woman, and child of African descent that lives in Marion County. If you got 4 people in your household, you got an extra $2,000. If that money is split up evenly, you got an extra $2,000 coming through, a decent impact. And if you got money to buy food, clothing, and shelter, then you and see, this is somebody's children. These kids 20 years old, 19 years old. That means, and they out here stealing probably because mom and daddy can't provide to them on the level that they feel that they need to be provided for. The solution to these murders, and again, the economics of crime, needs to be dealt with. And if we deal with it, then it's going to impact the murders that's going on in Indianapolis. They're getting ready to come back. Hold on.
Your favorite local ministries, community talk, and ride home with the Willie Moore Jr. Show and the Nightly Spirit with Darla McCoy.
Are y'all still with me?
24/7 on the station for all generations, AM 1310, and now on 92.7 FM, The Light. Your praise or yet inspirational moments don't have to end on the radio. Get social with us online. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Church Indy.
Okay, they still doing the commercial. But I'm saying that we got to deal with the economics of crime. And the mayor is saying that he's on board. Now we need to get the people on the city county council to put the legislation in front of him so it can be signed. And I'm saying that we're going to be talking to some city county councilors to make that happen. And if they don't make it happen, I thought they was coming back. But if they don't address it, then we need to talk about who we got sitting on the council. Are y'all with me? If you're with me, then give me a thumbs up. You know.
Did you love it? Well, you want me to be honest? There's some things that as a mother would say are sacred, but let's leave that to Mom and Kay, and let's open up the national anthem. Okay? She did a fine job. Glad to see her. But no. I wasn't really with that. Yeah, I wish you to sing another song like "Get the Car, Get the Car, Get the Car, Get the Car." Okay, can you see? Leave that alone, okay? The Nightly Spirit with Darla McCoy, energetic, uplifting, and empowering. From 8 to 11 on AM 1310, 92.7 FM, The Light. WCLC AM, W24GI, Indian. It's time for an important discussion about everything going on here in Indy. It's Community Connection with Tina Cosby on AM 1310, 92.7 FM, The Light. Community Connection, brought to you by Child Advocates. Your voice, their future.
And we're back with our elder, Mmoja Ajabu, economic freedom fighters of Indiana, community activist, well-known community activist. And you just outlined for us a couple of things, but the thing that's getting the most attention right now, and I'm really interested in discussing it further, is your 15% plan, which you think or which you feel, Elder Ajabu, that will help stem this tide of violence in the city of Indianapolis. And this comes on the day, your conversation is very timely because it comes on the day when the four suspects in that quadruple murder are having their preliminary court appearance, and also on the day when two of those victims of that quadruple homicide are being laid to rest. So, there's definitely a high interest in figuring out how to stop this.
Yes, let me say one thing though, Tina. The 15% is the law. The 15% is the law.
It's the law, but you want to change the definition.
Exactly.
Of minority. Yeah, you want to shift the definition from minority to and to specify that 15%. Or do you want the whole 15% to go to or you just a certain amount set aside? What do you think?
I want at least 15% to go to businesses owned by people of African descent.
African American descent.
Yeah,
so the fact that the 15% plan covers minorities, you want that to be changed. You want the definition of the 15% to be changed to African Americans and not minorities?
No, I don't see. Let minorities have their own percentage. In that same law, that same law says that 6% go to white women or women. That same law says that 4% go to veterans. That same.
Saying a portion. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but now that's in addition to the 15% now.
You're saying in addition to.
Yeah, I'm not trying to cut anybody out. I'm trying to cut us in. And I'm saying that our definition of self does not need to be diluted by lumping us with a bunch of other people. Let us have our own separate category, like women have theirs, like vets have theirs, like the disabled have theirs, and nobody has paid the price in America like we have paid, so we have earned that.
Okay. Let's go back to the phone lines. Paul, you had a comment on Ajabu's plan?
Hey, yes, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah. Hey, Ajabu.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for your diligence on this issue. I know you've been on this issue for quite a while. And to be honest with you, I think that the law states that it's 23%. 15% goes to women and minority businesses and vets. However, to cut it out, to say that we need to set aside from African Americans, it's absolutely right. Just feel the ones to have that has the chronic in our community that is affecting everybody. However, I would like to see it fleshed out a little bit more, because even if we do the 15% set aside and these companies are advantage of that, there's no guarantee for the filter down to the people that we need. There has to be an employment plan within that that's going to suggest that they go into particular areas and hire the people that are committed to crimes and retraining them and retooling them so that they can come up as well. I don't know how you feel about that, so I'll go offline and wait on your response.
Okay, thank you, Paul. He makes a good point, does he not?
He does, but see, this is one thing that I know. If money starts coming to businesses owned by people of African descent, and people will not like this, but it is our children that are committing these murders. That all of these people that was dealing the weed, they somebody's child. These people that was robbing, they somebody's child. So now if these people, if the parents or the uncle or grandma or big mama go into business, they're going to hire them. That money is going to stay in the family, and it's also going to be with their friends. And so now you're going to get it to them. Now there is a responsibility.
I don't think he argues with the concept, but his point is guardrails need to be put in place. And I don't disagree with that. In fact, I think that's a very good point. That we just can't expect it to naturally happen or to happen organically. There has to be something. But then again, maybe maybe once the door is open toward that, maybe the guardrails can be put up. But
see, this makes a good point. The point is this, Tina. Let's get the money first. Then we can start about talking about how to use it. But let's get it first.
Get the money first. Okay, Frank, you have a question for
Yes, I do. How you doing, Miss Tina?
Good, how are you?
I'm okay. Mmoja.
Hey.
Good to hear your voice, man.
All right, Frank. Who you know me?
Oh, yeah?
Right, that was you.
I'm watching with you, man. With you and Elder Rush and preacher Pastor Harris.
Oh, well, you calling good names.
When you had the caskets at the
For Michael Taylor.
building, I was down there with you. I was with you, man.
Okay. Talk to me.
I've been with you. I've been with you ever since I've been got to knowing you in the 60s. I got to know you then.
Are you from Indianapolis? Are you from here in Indianapolis?
Who, me?
No, Mr. Ajabu.
Yeah, I was born and raised here.
You were born and raised here.
Born and raised here, yeah.
You know what? I've never known that. I've known you all these years.
Is that right? Yeah, people tell me that I act not like I was born and raised here.
Exactly. I
But-
mean, I don't know what that means, but I just didn't know if you had been born and raised here. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Frank. We didn't mean to interrupt with our own conversation.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'm glad to know that you need to get to know it. I've been knowing it.
I've known
I've been knowing this man. This man has been on the trail ever since I got to knowing him. And like I said, I used to march with him and down and around and stop this killing and the police killing. Ajabu was in Harris in
Elder
Elder
Rush,
Rush
mhm.
was the ones that was behind it, but other people came in and tried to steal the show from me. But he always have come up, and he's a good organizer. And I'm glad to see him back on the thing. And I wish you had asked Hudner, not Hudner. Hudner. I wish you had asked him bring in some of these.
Okay, Mmoja, it looks like Frank lost his connection.
Okay.
If he wants to back with me. But apparently he had a point to make that he wished that you would have asked the mayor when you had the mayor's ear a question, and that's when the connection failed. So
Right.
we'll go to the other caller here. Mayhem for Mr. Ajabu.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Much respect, Ajabu. I gotta
Thank
make
you.
this real quick. We cannot put all crime up because we don't have no money. I wish we could stick with the law, because really, I do business in Indiana, and I'm down in Cincinnati. Cincinnati had that problem. People went to jail because they was playing with the law. When you say minority, people was getting contracts under white women, but the contract was going to their husbands. So we're playing semantics. I can tell you, you may be the last one here, because you already know how they play Frank and how they play Amos. So you may be the last one. We need some outside eyes, because one thing you're not saying is there's a law, and the law has been enforced, and people broke the law. And a lot of people around you, or your buddies, they need to go to jail because they've been playing. City council, half of them give out contracts, and we can't blame it on white people, because it's been black people been doing it. You know, we used to get down to facts and figures here. Now we don't, because there's a lot of cover up, because we don't want to see our buddies go to jail. But if you, I don't understand. We talking about urban areas. There's no urban areas in this community anymore. Like you look at 38th Street, it's majority white. So how is that black people can jump over white people to kill black people? There's no other culture in our so-called neighborhood or minority cultures that's doing it. It's only us. There's a great conspiracy here, my brother. And your buddies are the ones who are conspiring to help this go down. Thank you.
Well, Mayhem, I think you my buddy. So now what you're doing is you talking about yourself. And this is what I'm saying. No solution is going to solve everything. So when you
There's no 100%
no.
solution.
So when you start using terms like all and every, well, automatically there's a hole in what you're saying. And I'm not saying that money is the solution to all of the murders that's going on. Basically, what I am saying is when you talk about murder or crime, it's two reasons: passion, you done me wrong, or money. And I'm saying that money is the larger reason, overwhelmingly, of those two situations. And so I'm saying also that Mayor Hogsett has publicly stated that he believes that the reason for crime is poverty. I'm saying that he has the solution to some of that poverty, to most of that poverty, in his hand by following Yeah.
Therefore, there it is.
So we are the economic freedom fighters of Indiana. So we're dealing with the economics. We don't say that the psychology part does not need to be dealt with. We don't say that the educational part does not. You got it. You know, I mean, we support the NAACP and the fight that they have about the lead in the water in the schools. Yeah, I mean, we're not opposed to that, but that's not what we're doing. You know, we support the problem with poor housing that D. Ross is dealing with out there on the east side. If we can help in that regard, we're not opposed to that. But our lane is the economics. And when you talk about the law in Indiana or Indianapolis, the law says that the city ought to do at least 15% of its business with businesses owned by people of African descent. We have had issues with people on the city county council holding the mayor accountable to do that. When you look at the disparity study that just came out, they admit that they're not meeting that. And their own language says that if they consistently don't meet the percentage, then the law should be changed from being a goal to being a set aside. All we're doing is.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And here's the other thing: I need for you to come back, keep me updated in terms of where you are, the progress you're making, because I would like to hear what's going on and what the next step will be. But thank you for coming on and outlining this and giving us, this clarifies a lot of the emails and a lot of the information that I've been getting, and I do want to keep track of it. So we're going to need updates.
Yeah, well, you will get them as we get them, and I sure appreciate it because really, you are doing the community one hell of a service team. Because no. Let me say this, because it needs to be said. The vehicle that you are using to inform the community is necessary, and it makes the job easier because it shines a light on the political people to where it's that they can't hide. If you had not given me the opportunity to say what Mayor Hogsett said to me, then it might be able to be pushed up under the rug. But he told me that. And one thing that people know about me in this city, my word is bond. If I done told you that somebody said something or I told you that I'm going to do something, look for it. And I really appreciate Tina Cosby.
Okay, well, I appreciate it most.
Thank you so much.
You'll be back. We will welcome you back, and by all means, please keep us updated and posted. So
We
thank
will.
you again. Tell them about your job. And we.
Okay, I don't know where we are in the program. Is my mic on?
Yeah, mic's on.
Okay, so you see the struggles that one has, and I want to, and I didn't say this, and I should have said it. The 26th of this month, the Office of Minority-Owned and Women-Owned Business Enterprises is going to be doing a certification workshop over at the Howellville Library. That's going to be the 26th of February at 2 p.m. And y'all need to meet me over there so that we can get all this paperwork out of the way. So when we start this money coming through the neighborhood, they can't say, well, we can't make it come through the neighborhood because we don't know, we don't have the businesses. Ain't no businesses available. We gonna make it happen. All right, I think I'm gonna end it right here. You've been listening to Elder Mmoja Ajabu, your host for After the Naked Truth. Unbossed. All right, Henry, this is, I'm still on cable, so I'm glad that you called in. This is, hold on, I'm gonna put you on speaker so people can hear you too. This is.
That's a good job. That's what I was talking about in the newspaper, the thing I sent you.
Now, hold on, let me set it up for the people that still listen. This is Henry Davis. He sits on the City County Council in South Bend. They don't call it the City County Council. They call it the Common Council in South Bend, but it's the same thing. And he's fighting the same fight that I just mentioned there in South Bend. he told the mayor that they needed to have money specifically for businesses owned by people of African descent so that it would help to impact the crime in the way that it can. Henry, go on and share what it is that you want to share, because my audience is listening to you.
Hey, no, I just appreciate it, man, because it's not just, I'm not the only one streaming this stuff, man. I think it's nuts that people don't want their piece of the pie.
Ain't that crazy?
The problem is that is as insane as it can get. And they don't even understand the amount of money that's supposed to go in their community will quail and quiet a lot of stuff that goes on. Ton of stuff.
Right.
But I don't understand it. But hey, man, I appreciate it. Thank you. That's why I'm calling you to tell you did a good job, man. I appreciate the conversation.
Well,
and hopefully, it'll spark some more folks. I mean, it's just nuts.
But see,
I didn't say African descent.
well, I pushed the envelope a little bit more. But see, I've told you that we're trying to groom somebody on the city county council here that will do what you're doing. See, Henry is on the council, and he's pushing the common council there in South Bend to do what we're talking about. That's on the law. That's on the books right here. And now I have gotten.
I need that law too, so I can file it here.
I will send it to you. I will send it to you. But the mayor told me yesterday that if we made the changes that I proposed, one, take us out of being a minority and give us our own separate category. Two, make the law a set aside instead of a goal. He said he would sign the legislation. We've got several people on the city county council of African descent. Why wouldn't they push legislation to where that they can start making money go through the communities which they represent? We've got a meeting coming up.
I'll tell you what, they can do one of them white boys.
Yeah, ain't that unfortunate?
They can do one of them white boys. They'll love to do it. They the one that want to be married.
Yeah, ain't that unfortunate? Now, see, that's what happened with Jim Merritt. He came up with a black agenda, and Hogsett, before, he said he didn't need a black agenda. His agenda was for everybody, but he got so much pressure, then he said that he was going to come up with a black agenda. Well, this is the black agenda. You know, make that money come through the neighborhood. That's right, you know. So I appreciate you calling, man, and I'll get back with you, you know, and we're still looking for you to come down here to be on the panel. Henry is going to be on the panel. We're organizing a panel, race, media, and the black agenda. And he's going to come down here to share his knowledge with us, because we've got to pull together so that we can be together. You've been listening to Elder Mmoja Ajabu, the most truthful talk show host in the business. Unbought, unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt-naked truth. I ain't got but one question for you. You ready?
This is not a test.
If you listen to this program, you're going to get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt-naked truth. This program is X-rated. You ready?
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. You are now tuned into the world's most honest talk show host, the Elder Mmoja Ajabu.